fired up. Let's get them fired up, as they say. I don't know what they're saying, but they're saying it. So we have to get Ben Fine in here, the great Ben Fine. He's so fine, his name is Ben Fine. Look at that. So we are going to get Ben Fine in here. And once I get Ben on the horn, maybe.
Hello?
Ben, how are you, my friend?
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to the broadcast. How are you, sir?
Good, good.
Give me
So
just...
where are you calling? You coming from Chicago?
I am. Give me just a few moments here. I've got to patch all of our various people in here because it's not just me doing the damn thing here with you today. We got to get Don Mazzella and IQ Al Rizzoli in here, and then we will jump off the good foot and do the bad thing, as they say. But let me just give me a few moments here. I've got to dial them up, and then we'll get everybody in here. So hopefully that works. And if you've just joined us, there's IQ Al Rizzoli, and I believe there's Don Mazzella. How are you guys?
Okay, yourself?
Pretty good, actually. We've got a great guest here to kick us off. We've got our first guest, Ben Fine, joins us here on the telephone. Ben, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
Okay, I'm fine. I'm doing well.
Well, tell me and the guys here a little bit about your latest book, my friend.
Okay, it's called The Salsa King of Scarsdale.
Okay.
And it's sort of a tragic romantic comedy.
Huh.
Okay.
That's all we need in this day.
It's essentially the story is a wealthy gynecologist from Scarsdale, very successful, but he's basically dissatisfied with life. Midlife crisis, the whole bit. He's sort of a fat nerd.
Tell me, is he Jewish?
Is he what?
Is he Jewish?
Jewish?
Yes.
Of course he is.
I describe him in the book as sort of a fat Sigmund Freud. He grew a little beard and so on, and his wife is very annoying and so on. You can get the picture right away. And he hires a Dominican assistant from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
I guess. And one thing leads to another. He winds up having an affair with her.
So what else is new?
What else is
So
new?
far, so good. But so far, like every other book, but it's like nothing he's ever experienced. He's madly in love with her. She finally says to him, "Listen, Ira, when are you leaving your wife?" And, I'm not. He wasn't planning, and so on. She's fairly serious, and she says, "Well, if you're not serious, I'm going back to the Dominican Republic." Goes back. He's crushed. So he doesn't know what to do. For a couple of weeks, he's sort of crushed. Eventually, he calls her up. He says, "Inez, come home, please." She goes, "We have nothing in common." And he says, "Yes, we do." And she goes, "What?" He goes, "Salsa dancing." So she goes, "But you don't know how to salsa dance." He says, "I'll learn." Picture him, Park Avenue practice. He hires a woman to teach him salsa dancing. So in his practice, he's in the white coat, a little fat, learning how to salsa dance. That's the gist of the story.
Dawn, start us off here. Jump in there, my friend.
What can I say? It's the kind of story that we all need in this day and age. But tell me, did you fall in love with the salsa instructor?
Yeah. Well, no. What happens is it gets even worse than that. He calls her up and he says, "Well, Inez, I've now learned how to salsa dance. Come back." He pays for her to come back with her mother and her kids to New York City. He leaves his wife. He moves in with her, and 2 weeks later she goes, "Ira, I don't even love you," and leaves her. But he's not broken because now he has salsa dancing to keep him going.
I love the ending.
That's great.
I love the ending. I call it poetic justice.
The
Well,
end,
that's
the,
the end.
without giving, no, that's the ending, but to put it in, not to give the ending away, but the last scene is him in the Audubon Ballroom, which is a big Spanish dancing club in New York, and two guys are looking at him and goes, who's the big fat Anglo? And he goes, that's the Salsa King of Scarsdale, the doctor man. That's how it ends.
That is poetic justice. That's really good.
Thought of it originally as sort of an independent movie, like a quirky independent movie.
Yes.
But it's easy to get books published than to get movie scripts, so I did it as a novel rather than...
What's the title?
The title's Salsa King of Scarsdale.
That's a great title. That is a great title. But do you think most men are suffering a middle-age crisis nowadays?
Well, it's very common. It's very common, so...
But do you think, I'm an older generation. I don't know how old you are, Ben, but our generation, almost all of us had some sort of a breakdown in our middle age. We bought a sports car, or we did something. But this generation doesn't seem to be doing that. What do you think, Ben?
Well, I'll put it in, I'm 72, so...
77.
77. So I lived through what he was feeling, so... Without the Spanish woman, so...
Oh. But did you marry a nice Jewish girl?
I did, yes.
Okay. Well, I married, Italians, Jews, not much difference between when it comes to our choosing our wives. But Ben, if I can ask you, do you think in this world today we should be doing more of what this man did? Maybe just throwing it over in our 40s and 50s and doing something different?
Well, I've had a bunch of friends who've done that, so whether we should or shouldn't, I'm not going to judge anybody.
Well, Ben, this book is absolutely amazing. It is the Salsa King of Scarsdale. We've got Ben Fine with us today. You can get more information on his website, thesalsakingofscarsdale.com. And it is an absolutely amazing book. Tell me and the guys here a little bit about your writing process to bring this book to life.
My writing process, well, I write scenes as if they're little movies, put it that way. So I like to write a book by thinking of it as a little movie and then take it from there. So each thing in a book is a little bit of a movie.
Ben, who would you have play it if you had your druthers?
I hope I have what?
If you had your choice, who would you have play the Salsa King?
To play it, I would think somebody like Paul Giamatti. Do you know who he is?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He's
John
sort
of, Adams. He'd be terrific.
Yeah, he fits the part perfectly. He's not real good looking, but he's not bad looking, and so on. So I think he would be perfect for the doctor, and maybe Sofia Vergara for the receptionist.
Hmm. A lot of women are always worried when their husbands hire receptionists. In fact, I was talking to somebody who said she required her husband, they have to be 50 and fat. What do you say to that?
I really didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I have a friend who said that she insists her husband hire receptionists that are 50 and fat. What do you say to that?
I've heard that. I've heard that many times. You know, people just they don't like a good receptionist. But you know, if you're going to hire a receptionist, you might as well have a beautiful woman there. I mean, not to be too sexist, but I'd rather take my chances with an angry wife.
Oh, well, you're a braver man than me.
Yeah, well, I don't have to hire my secretary is about 5'4", 260. So she doesn't fit what I would envision as this.
Well, let me ask you this question: do you salsa? Do you salsa?
I'm a very poor dancer. My wife is good enough to be a dance instructor, but I can't. I'm a poor dancer.
So what do you do? What do you do when she's on the floor?
I try to follow her. I can get out there and not make a fool of myself, but that's about it. Do you ever see, like, you're at a wedding or something, you see a couple, you go, wow, they can really dance? Well, if I'm in a wedding and we're out on the floor, they go, wow, she can really dance. That's where I am as dancing, so.
Ben, what do you think of the world today?
What do I
Yeah.
today? It's crazy. I mean, all day I watch the trial on TV, and it's crazy.
Do you think they'll convict him?
I doubt it. I mean, my regular job, I'm a statistician, and statistically, there's no way that he's going to. There's no way they're going to convict him. They just don't have the numbers. Unless some of them gain some thought processes. I mean, I was thinking that if Mitch McConnell votes to convict, maybe they will convict. But I can't see that happening. Do you guys see that happening? I don't know.
Well, I love the way the local paper here put it, that the Democrats said he reveled in anarchy.
Yeah.
That was their headline.
Yeah, well, they're going to play up the point that he was cheering them on from the White House. Maybe that'll change some minds. I don't know.
You know, isn't it funny though? In Washington, they're insurrectionists. In Portland, they're progressives. You know,
yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, the world is a crazy world. Both sides, you know, that's why nobody can agree on anything. But these people were crazy. You see the temper of the crowd. People carrying in a Confederate flag, and somebody had an Auschwitz shirt. All of that. It's the same group that in the Capitol that was in Charlottesville, Virginia. Exactly the same group. They're really scumbags, but that's neither here nor there.
What do you think of the people in Portland?
People in Portland got out of hand, but I don't hold them to the same standard because I look at, say, Black Lives Matter, and I say that black people in this country have it very difficult. I mean, every day something happens, the police shoot somebody. I have a good friend, and I included this in stories. He's a very wealthy black guy. Hello? Yeah. He's a very wealthy black guy. He lives in a nice town in Connecticut. He could not buy his son a decent car because if he bought his son a decent car, there'd be a 100% chance his son would be stopped by the police. That's what you got to realize, you know, when you talk about what went on in Portland, what went on in Minneapolis, and so on. I mean, it's a crazy world we're living in. That's why I create a fantasy world by writing.
So listening to all this, IQL Rizzoli, what questions do you have for Ben?
Well, he was talking about BLM. And on Oregon. Well, the black people are not the only people who have been discriminated against. Japanese
No, not
people,
at all. Not at all.
Chinese,
Not at all.
yes, yes. But then why are we excusing BLM to do what they want, and we don't excuse anybody else? The Chinese don't burn places. The Japanese don't burn places. The Jews don't. And the Jews in the 50s and 60s, there were many places say no Jew and no dog.
Oh yeah, no, I know
So
that.
why do we excuse the BLM? I don't, this, I can't figure it out. And yet, black Americans have a better life in America than any African in Africa.
Oh, of course, of course. But you have to realize there are problems. You have to realize, here's a statistic. I told you I'm a professor, is my regular job. But if you're a black man, they've done studies. It takes you 1 extra hour to drive across Pennsylvania because of being stopped by the police.
Well, is it only in Pennsylvania or is it all the
No,
United States of America?
It's in America. That as bad as other people have had it, there's no doubt that Jews have had it bad in America. Take a look at now. There's still vicious anti-Semites. Look at this lunatic from Georgia who said that the forest fires in California were caused by Jewish lasers from outer space. I like that. I'm going to write a book about that, I think. But the fact is the police are especially hard on black people. And anybody who's lived in the city knows that. I mean, it's just, yes, in Oregon, there are other people being discriminated against. But people say, again, I'll throw another statistic at you. That the police have it so dangerous. I looked it up. Over 1,000 unarmed black men were killed by the police last year. There were 60 policemen killed in the line of duty, and 30 were killed by other policemen. So it doesn't equate. That's why I think that Black Lives Matter makes a big difference.
How do they make a difference when they're burning other places? And they're burning, by the way, they're not burning the houses and businesses of white people. They are burning they're burning the people who are under. They are themselves Asians and Latin Americans and somebody else. So really, I cannot find a justification under any circumstances to go and burn other people's livelihood because I am discriminated against.
No, I agree with you on that. I mean, but the fact is that the demonstrations shouldn't have fallen that far, the ones in Portland.
But
they should have.
But they're not only are they continuing, they are instigated and supported by the governors of the state.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
Sorry, what do you mean you don't believe that? You have police forces, you have the National Guard, you have the FBI, and they're not interfering. What do you mean you don't believe? Look, I'm an outsider. I don't live in America. I live in Europe. But my forte, you have your forte is statistics. My forte is to look at America, and because as far as I'm concerned, from where I am, without America, Western civilization is dead.
Yeah, well, that was the problem with Trump. He alienated all the Europeans.
Really? Sorry. Let me put it in a perspective. The Europeans were fucking the Americans financially for 60 years. He wasn't alienating them. The bastards were sucking the blood of Americans. Excuse my language.
Yeah, but look, you never talk politics or religion. But the fact is that he alienated.
In this program, you do it all the time.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
He alienated Macron. He alienated Merkel. He alienated Boris Johnson.
Yeah, who is Merkel, by the way? Merkel is a traitor to Germany. Merkel allowed 1.5 million aliens, mostly Muslims, who will never, ever integrate in Europe. She allowed them to come to Germany. Germany is suffering. Europe is suffering. Where else in the world do you have mass enslavement for sexual pleasure by Muslims? Only in Europe. Only in Europe, by Muslims. But nobody in the media says anything. Why? Because they are politically correct to the nth degree. They're stupid. My forte, my subject is Islam.
It is, okay. So you realize Europe is going to be basically Muslim?
I'll tell you what, within less than 30 years, yes. Two reasons. I'll give you two
Not only
reasons.
immigration, but population growth.
Thank you. You said it before I said it. They are not
Yep.
breeding enough. And when they're not breeding enough at 1.3, 1.4, 1.7, it is irreversible.
Yeah, well, you look, Germans are going to disappear in 200 years. I mean, Germans.
Yeah.
The funny part of it, this is the irony. Let me share it with you, Ben.
Yeah.
Those in Germany who are Nazis, they pick on the Jews. Now, the number of Jews in Europe, the total number of Jews in Europe doesn't add up to 500,000 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? The number of Muslims in Europe are over 70 million. And
Oh,
yet
sure.
they hate the Jews and they let the Muslims get away with it.
Hey, look, it's a strange thing, and as a Jew, I don't understand it, but Jews are hated all over. Look, in Poland, there's something like 3,000 Jews left now. And yet there's still vicious anti-Semitism in Poland.
By the way, sorry, with all due respect, there has never been anti-Semitism, ever. Hitler was not an anti-Semite. Read Mein Kampf. I studied it. I didn't read it. Never once, let me repeat it, never once did Hitler associate Semitism in his book. He was always Juden, Jews, because he knew and he respected Islam. In fact, in many conversations he had with his friends, he admired Muhammad as a mensch, as a man who swore. And he knew that the Arabs are Semites. There was no way he could attack Semitism. He attacked Jews. And until today. But we shouldn't use the word anti-Semitism. Why use anti-Semitism? Why don't you say the way it is? Anti-Jewish. Ilhan Omar is not an anti-Semite because she doesn't hate Arabs. She hates Jews. So she is a Jew hater.
Yeah.
Look, it's not only semantics. This is really important to make it the way it is. Call a spade a spade. Why hide it?
Well, the hero of my book is Jewish, by the way. So, did I tell you that?
By the way, he has to be.
Yeah.
Because I read many books of midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Invariably Jews. I think, is it Portnoy? Portnoy was there.
Yeah, he was
Like
Jewish. That was what's the author there? I forgot his name. Did Goodbye Columbus also. Very well-known author, but I can't remember him now.
Yeah. Midlife crisis. By the way, in your opinion, do women also suffer midlife crisis? I would have thought.
Although it's called whatever they get. What is it called when you
Menopause.
menopause, right? And that has a lot of psychological things too. In fact, they call men's midlife crisis male menopause.
So they suffer. Maybe you should write a book about a woman.
Suffering at the Salsa Queen of Scarsdale.
Yes, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Well, Ben, I know that you've got another couple interviews you've got to get to. I appreciate you taking as much time as you